What up, perps? Kid Copious, back in effect. Purple State Party, you know what we're doing here. Repping America, the center, common sense. This is going to be a tough show for me because I can kind of feel the weight of the importance. We're at a crossroads here. And, thank you just so much for being here. I've been doing this for quite a while now. And, every view, every comment, everything is so appreciated. So, this one's for you. Wish me luck. All right, so I think it's only fair I gloat a little bit. I said it many times. I didn't think it was going to be Trump-Biden. I didn't think, one or both were going to actually make it. But yeah, I think we all know what's happened by now. Biden dropped out of the 2024 race. And quite frankly, he was pushed out. Maybe that's a good thing because, we don't really want a president in there that's, I fear pretty close to death or a complete incapacitation. I think that was part of the decision. But a big part of the decision, obviously, was the Dems want to win. That was it. Because they were starting to know. They like to call it a historic withdrawal, but, they knew that America didn't support Biden. They couldn't work up enthusiasm for Biden. And, Trump was looking really good. It's kind of coincidental on the timing, isn't it? But for them, it's about winning. Gavin Newsom, I'm here in California, so Gavin Newsom is, my nightmare. So this is what he had to say. Again, he was a history-making president, a leader who fought hard for working people. I didn't feel that. Delivered astonishing results. You might want to look up what astonishing means in the dictionary. He will go down in history as one of the most impactful and selfless presidents. Well, he'll go down in history and he'll be forgotten because he didn't really do anything. He will be overshadowed by the October 7th attack, the war in the Ukraine, some of the crazy shit North Korea's done, some of the crazy shit that Iran's done, some of the crazy shit that the leftists were doing, defacing monuments, burning flags. That's what people will remember. And Biden will just simply be a footnote to those events, because a lot of that, quite frankly, I think he has his eyes off the prize. He was consumed with this leftist agenda about societal changes and energy changes, and he ignored everything else. Age struggling to figure out how to break the news to Biden that he dropped out. Look, honestly, what we're going to see here, I was hoping that maybe somebody else would emerge. More of a centralist, like a Tulsi Gabbard or a Manchin, something like that, Kristen Sinema. Something that actually gave me some hope that maybe we were going to start to break the stranglehold. But, Donald Trump will destroy democracy, says party nominating candidate no one voted for. No one voted for her. Least liked VP ever. She ran for president and couldn't even win her own state, had to drop out. She's only in this position because the color of her skin and her sex, her gender. Honestly, there were a lot of candidates running against Biden, and he could have chosen some of them, but he chose somebody who fit a bill. Fine, whatever. That's the truth of it. Dems pull off successful insurrection. They did. They knew they were going to lose. And they knew that the best path to victory would be getting a new candidate. A candidate that clicks some check boxes. Yeah. That's the way it works. That's the one thing that I kind of admire about the Trump pick of J.D. Vance is he was just like, look, I'm not going to play these games. I'm not going to worry about that. I'm going to, you could argue that Vance might not be the most qualified person that could have been picked. I would sort of agree with that. But he had the same qualifications as a lot of other vice presidents. So, but they go around, Trump's a threat to democracy. How about the last 3 elections? Did the Democrats listen to their supporters, or did they just do what they thought was best for victory? Did they push people? Did they push electrics and electrics? Not electrics. The electors. Did they push them to go a certain way so that by the time Democrat voters went to the polls or licked the stamp, the party was already signaling who they were going to pick? I'm sure the Republicans, the core Republican elite wasn't exactly thrilled that here we go again with Trump. But that's what people picked. I mean, that's the slight difference. Like I said earlier, she was the least popular VP ever. She dropped out of the primary so early, she couldn't even win her own state. But the Democrats are banking on, hey, we've got these check boxes checked for you. So we're going to get this vote, we're going to get this group's vote because, she's a black South Asian woman. So those are a lot of votes right there that are just going to go our way because that's what we say so. I think they'll find that's not the truth. I think race, maybe gender plays a little bit more of a role than race because in my own research, I'm not seeing or meeting black women saying, yeah, Kamala Harris represents me. The Hispanics were more happy having Speedy Gonzalez represent them than black women are to have Kamala Harris. Because she's a crook and they know they can't trust her. And fortunately, what I've been hearing is a lot of them are just going to go either RFK or stay away. That's a great slogan, RFK or stay away. That's a great one. But one of the things that's just really frustrating about this, and we'll get to more of this, just, seeing things for what they are. The Democratic elite know that even if Kamala loses, they still get the woke points. Because they can say, oh, first black female candidate. They might even get first all-female ticket. Well, won't that be a first? Never mind her lack of skill or charm. And I don't have a problem with 2 women being on the ticket. I would vote for that. Because it doesn't matter to me what their gender is. It's about the content of their soul, their character. There are lots of female tickets that could be put together that would make some sense. Just not with her on top of the ticket. So when you start hearing all this stuff about misogyny and blah, 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 and racism, that's not the point. The point is that people do not trust her. They know she's a flip-flopper, and they know that she's just going to continue to allow the far left to dictate terms. This is not a centralist Democrat party anymore. This is a far left Democrat party. The reason I focus so in on them is because they are leftists. They are no longer even Democrats. They're no longer progressive. They're no longer liberal. They are leftists. That's where they've gone. Recently, I think it was Netanyahu was speaking, and John Fetterman was one of the few Democrats to stand up and clap. Because they have gone so far left that they now hate Christians and Jews. And we'll get more into that. They hate conservatives. They hate the idea of locking people up. You know why? I'll tell you why. People on the right are not afraid to fight the bad guy. People on the left are afraid to fight the bad guy. So therefore they form an alliance. Just like on Survivor. The weak team up to take care of the strong, to take out the strong. This is a cowardly party that has bowed to the far left. So far left that they're leftists now. The process with Kamala Harris just being inserted is so wrong that even Black Lives Matter demands that they host an immediate primary to protest anointing of Kamala Harris. I have no idea. I mean, their statement here. Now, Democrat Party elites and billionaire donors are attempting to manipulate black voters by anointing Kamala Harris and an unknown vice president as the new Democrat ticket without a primary vote by the public. This blatant disregard for democratic principles is unacceptable. While the potential outcome of a Harris presidency may be historic, the process to achieve it must align with true democratic values. There you go. We have no idea where Kamala Harris stands on the issues. This is from Black Lives Matter. Now that she has assumed Joe Biden's place, and we have no idea of the record of her potential vice president because we don't even know who it is yet. This is what I'm hoping people are starting to see. That the Democrat elite is running the show. And when they're done with the right, they'll come for you. Because that's what they do. Even BLM. I have to agree with BLM. So the other day I saw what I consider to be one of the best movies in a long time. Wolverine, Deadpool. Deadpool, Wolverine. Yeah. Put it up right here. What was interesting is we were talking afterwards about it. And we were talking about the subtle wokeness that was in the movie. Not woke. Not even subtle wokeness. Because what I said, that's normal. There's certain... I'm not going to get into it. But, they showed, like a lesbian couple who was just kind of... One of them's kind of, to me, one of the funnest parts of the whole movie. Hello, Yukio. Hello, Deadpool. That was great. And the fact that when Deadpool didn't know a character's gender, he referred to them as they. Subtle. Not really offensive. Not the crux of the entire movie. Not the crux of the entire marketing campaign. A little bit here, a little bit there, sprinkled in. Softy, softy. That actually works when it comes to social change. Not just punching it down people's throats. So, here we go. The Olympics opening ceremony sparks outrage with drag queens parroting Last Supper. Gone completely woke. Yeah. It's crazy. Whoever this is, Fox News. This is crazy. Opening your event by replacing Jesus and the disciples at the Last Supper with men in drag. There are 2.4 billion Christians on the earth, and apparently the Olympics wanted to declare loudly to all of them right out of the gate, not welcome. Not welcome. Okay. Oh, sure. Sure, you don't want... And they're booing the Israeli athletes, so they don't want the Christians and the Jews there, but, oh, yeah, they're going to celebrate Team Palestine. Right. Yeah. A lot of people did not like this. I think Riley Gaines sums it up pretty good here. No one ever tell me that this group is oppressed or marginalized again. A lot of drag queens are actually outraged by this because they want to be marginalized. They just want to go out and do their act, which a lot of times is pretty filthy and slightly disrespectful. But in the context of a comedy performance, or just a performance, an artistic performance, the people who come to see that show, they know what they signed up for. Putting the Last Supper on display with a bunch of drag queens, man, that's disrespectful because nobody comes to the opening ceremonies of the Olympics expecting to be so freaking offended. If you go to a Jim Jeffries concert and say, I was offended, you're fucking stupid. Do some research. He even said it himself, just Google him. Elon Musk said here, this was extremely disrespectful to Christians. And yeah, side note, Elon did say some stuff about his kid. I kind of think it was very distasteful. But I'm quoting him because he's right. Ryan Garcia. Yeah, I'll bring you commentary from anywhere, man. You never know where I'm going to come from. You never fucking know. Ryan Garcia, disrespect of Jesus Christ. Yeah, it is. It's just, that's the way it is. Their opening ceremony offended the Christian faith. I found it offensive. And I'm not one of those people. I'm not very easily offended. But that's not cool. You know? It's not cool. And, you know, it's like they do the Last Supper. Great. Okay, now do Muhammad. DEI and all that, right? You got to include everybody. Oh, I gotcha. It's pretty simple why they don't do Muhammad. The Christians and the Jews don't do suicide bombings. But Muslims do. Ask Charlie Hebdo. Right here. 12 people lost their lives because they published a cartoon about Muhammad. So, yeah, maybe you should just side with them. That's what I was saying. The left can't fight the bad guys, so they join them. That's why they're behind all of this crazy anti-Israel, anti-Jewish sentiment that's rocking the college campuses. It's at the Olympics. They booed Israel. I mean, does anybody kind of remember that Israel didn't really start this? That there was a ceasefire that was ongoing and that Hamas broke the ceasefire? But you're not, because you live in a fucking leftist echo chamber. And you don't think. You let the elites think for you. I'd like to think people who watch this show at least walk away a little less under control of the elites of America, period. Period. Remember, I don't give a shit what political party you are. I know what you're doing out there. And people need to see through it. Because there's far more of us than there are of them. Kamala Harris secures liberal white woman vote by always being drunk and intolerable. Yeah, man. Of course, it's not necessarily true of all white women. We got to be PC, right? Come on. You got to be PC. Liberal white women, though, do seem to be intolerable. Kamala Harris distances herself from Kamala Harris. Yeah, I mean, she used to defend bad cops. She used to withhold evidence from defense attorneys. She used to put people away for smoking some doobie. All right, let's not forget that. The media is going to try to cover this up. And hopefully it's not going to work. Kamala unveils campaign slogan. I'm with ha 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 ha. She's a cackling fool. She is. People take all kinds of shots at Trump. They call him the orange fat man and all that. She's a fucking buffoon. Borders are responsible for 11 million illegal immigrants entering country, demands the promotion. Hey, you know what? Here's the media cover-up, all right? Here's the media cover-up for this. She wasn't responsible for the border. She was responsible for the underlying problems that led to the border. It was Mayorkas's fault. Okay? Let's for a second, let's accept their statement that it's Mayorkas's fault. Mayorkas was appointed by Biden, who also appointed Harris. They're members of the same party. Do you not see the problem here? It really doesn't matter if she was directly responsible. It was her party's decisions. She was part of those decisions. And, quite frankly, she didn't really do anything about it. Because nothing changed after she went and had our meetings about root causes. Do you remember that time you cited Chris Farley? Man, I wish I could do his voice. Do you remember that time you sided with Jussie Smollett and it turned out that the hate crime was fake? And then everybody found out your family owned slaves. That was awesome. Her family, you can look it up, man. Fact check me. I don't give a shit. Fact check me. Put it down in the comment section. Because I'm never going to be right unless I know when I'm wrong. That's what I strive for. I want to know the truth. Period. End of subject. I want to know the truth. But to me, I said earlier, this was a hard one on me. But to me, Kamala Harris is like looking out my window and seeing a Russian tank rolling down the streets. There's graffiti in D.C. that says Hamas is coming. If that is true, if that is true, if Hamas is coming, then Kamala is holding open the door. That's one of the fears. But bigger than that, the Russian tank metaphor. It's because it means people are still buying what the media and the Democrats are selling. And it's on full display. So this is the crossroads. This is the point. I said to somebody earlier, if you were trying to convince the ship's captain that the ship was sinking, and he keeps saying, no, it's not sinking, it's not sinking, it's not sinking, you're imagining things, there's always a little bit of water, blah, 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 blah. Then you go to his cabin and he's knee deep in water. That's that moment where either the captain is going to try to fix the situation or the ship is going to sink. And that's where we're at. The water is up to your knees now. The Russian collusion. Okay, maybe you missed that story. The cover-up of Hunter's laptop. Okay, maybe you were convinced by CNN that it was all fake. And even to today, you believe it's fake. But come on. The president's competency for months, even maybe a year, maybe even years, people such as myself have been saying he's too old. I mean, I said that before he even got elected. I said, oh my God, the youth vote's going to go for the oldest, most career politician out there. But if people can't see it now, they're never going to see it. And it's going to be on full display. The U.S. today, the media gaslights voters by rewriting her past. Yeah, she wasn't the border czar. She was the root cause of immigration czar. Oh, my goodness. The contextual, oh, well, when she slept with Willie Brown, he wasn't married. He was separated. Well, separated means married. Because divorce means no longer married. But we're going to rewrite this. We're going to rewrite all of these little speeches that she's made where she's a condescending nitwit. Yeah, we're going to contextualize the shit out of that. And they don't even have to do their old standby to get people to riot now. Because they're doing it on their own for anti-Israel. So hopefully that doesn't spread, but that's what they're going to do. I forgot where this came from. I had thought that after the liberal media was exposed for its shameless attempts to cover for President Joe Biden's deteriorating mental and physical condition, mainstream outlets would maybe take a moment for a collective mea culpa. No. They're just running straight ahead. The attacks on... This is another one that's going to get covered up. Well, it wasn't really Kamala. It was the people who ran the office. Kamala Harris labeled a soul-destroying bully by former staff due to toxic behavior. 92% staff turnover. Only 4 of 71 staffers hired by Harris during her first year in office remained in the job, with the rest either quitting or being fired. People are thrown under the bus from the very top. There are short fuses and an abusive environment. Said somebody who worked there. Yeah. Like they mentioned here, presidential bid failed. Nobody wants her. But you're stuck with her. If you're a Democrat, you're stuck with her. Vote RFK or stay away. And to make this year even funner, Kamala Harris, as the current vice president, will be in charge of certifying the election results. But, Benzinga here assures us she's not going to burn the system down in order to save it. Really? Because I've just been witnessing almost 4 years of Democrats burning down the system to save it. Energy, social issues, everything, the border. Yeah, we're going to open up the border because we're going to solve the world's problems. We're going to take all their poor people. Great. But we've mentioned them. These protesters, D.C., college campuses. The Democrats believe that their voters are so stupid that they can get away with this kind of shit. They call Trump a Nazi, while their own supporters are chanting death to Jews, burning flags, supporting terrorist groups like Hamas, whose main purpose in life is to destroy Christians, Jews, and gays. Gay people, the so-called one of the backbones of the Democrat Party. You know, they'll throw you under the bus for votes, buddy. They are the Nazis. They're confused Nazis, but they're Nazis still the same. I don't care if you want to say that they are anti-genocide or they are anti-Israel or anti-occupation. You can put whatever fucking label you want on it. They're Nazis, all right? That's the way I look at it. Nazi is a great term for white supremacist assholes who hate Jews. Sums it all up. Used to be called Antifa, but let's just call it Nazis. People who are filled with hate, who are given an excuse to vent that hate. But why, if the far left is going with these openly anti-gay people, why did Dems support them? It goes back to the fact that they don't fight the bad guys. They join them. That's pure and simple. They have found now, through the recent events on college campuses in Washington, D.C., man, there is nothing like telling some radicalized Muslim, hey, Israel's bad and we kind of need your help. So we're gonna put together a peace in the Middle East rally, and you guys could go buck wild. Because fuck, you guys go buck wild. I mean, I thought Antifa went buck wild, but man, this radicalized Muslim crowd, whew, wow, they're next level. Yeah. So maybe, if they can keep this going, they won't have to pull out a black guy to die during a police encounter and get people to burn down cities over it. Maybe they can use the anti-Israel crowd. Maybe. Because what I fear most is they are going to use the infiltradas, however you pronounce that shit, fucking dumbass tostadas. Oh, now I'm hungry for a tostada. They're going to pull them and Antifa out. Shit's about to get real fucking spicy. And the worst part about it is Hamas's plan is to make Israel look bad. And the world is playing along. That's crossroads shit right there, folks. All right? There was a ceasefire. Hamas went into Israel and raped and murdered hundreds, thousands, terrorized all of those kids at that concert. And then when Israel retaliates, the world's like, boo, you can't do that. That's what happens. It's a worldwide leftist movement. Look at these jackholes. I mean, he's dancing around. Good luck. Go. Why don't you go live in Palestine? It's a fictitious place as of right now, but go live there. No, you're here. You're probably college age. You're fighting age. You notice the problem here. A lot of these people might be the paratroopers on D-Day. The people who went behind enemy lines in the early hours to sabotage and delay and hold up the response when the troops started coming to shore on the beaches of Normandy. That's who these people might be. And I don't really like to have to say it. I don't like feeling that way. I try to subtract people from my distrust list, not add to it. Another one of their crazy supporters, and this is the problem. You now have other crazy reporters, people on TV, whatever. Joy Reid, they got her to say that black people will look real weird if they don't vote for Kamala Harris. Dude, that is racist shit, man. That is slave mentality in reverse. Do not vote with the color of your skin. That's not going to change anything. That's a Trojan horse. But she goes on to say that, like, you know, particularly as a person of color, but really as anyone who claims to have any connection to the culture, Right. Because that's all it's about. You're going to look really weird and feel lonely on that side, she added. You're really going to look crazy being on that side, given the cultural phenomenon of Vice President Kamala Devi Harris. She's about to make history. She's about to become the first woman president. God, I hope not. I mean, I'll take Tulsi Gabbard. I'll take Kristi Noem. Kristen Sinema. Forgot the lady's name in Virginia. I mean, there are women out there, but man, you can't be this lady. Nearly 4 out of 5 Americans are worried about their sky-high home energy bills, a survey shows. They also found that 32% of respondents said that they're using credit cards, payment plans, and loans to make ends meet due to the energy bills. Yeah. And they're concerned about the cost of energy-efficient projects, such as upgrades to their HVAC or installing solar panels. I bring this up because it illustrates a point that I've always, a sentiment that I've always held. Let's take the recent fast food industry. They got a 25% pay raise up to $20, right? So that justifies the restaurants raising their prices. But because that excuse has now been given, they could raise them even higher. I just spent $6 on a milkshake from Carl's Jr. The frick? Come on, man. The only thing I like about Biden is he says that a lot, and somehow it's seeped into my brain. You give companies an excuse for corporate greed, you get corporate greed. And then one side can say, hey, the prices went up because Gavin Newsom raised the minimum wage. Which, sure, they have to raise their cost. I mean, it costs more to run the business. The product's going to cost more. The other side says it's corporate greed. Purple says no, it's a combination of both. And that's what happened in energy. Energy is speculative. So these people are thinking to themselves, hey, if Biden's going to shut this shit down maybe, or he's going to force us to do these things, well, we got to get behind him. But, hey, it's going to be expensive because, we're just starting out. Right? They've been producing the same power for decades. Supposedly they're collecting free wind and free solar, and somehow that raises the cost of energy. It's bullshit. It's just bullshit. And this is what happens when you don't try to make America energy independent, when your state is not energy independent. These are the problems that arise. The cost of energy services was up 3% in June over the previous 12 months. Electrical costs went up 4.4%, and utility gas went up 3.7%. Bravo. Green Deal. That's great. And what do they predicate their Green Deal on? The climate. And I just want to focus in on one thing. This is from the Washington Examiner. Turning to extreme weather events, that was said. The intensity and frequency has not increased since 1900. Tornadoes have not increased since 1950, and same with floods. But this university professor testified to these facts, and the Democrats basically just shut his ass down. They bullied him, harassed him, and tried to get him fired. But eventually he survived because he had the facts on his side. That it's not getting worse. Biden also said, and again, I know Biden's out of the race, but this is what the Democrats believe. So that would be Harris, right? Extreme cold kills twice the number of people in extreme heat. But he went out and said, oh no, extreme heat's the number one killer. What's the real number? Extreme cold claiming 9 times as many victims as extreme heat. And the lies don't end there. Al Gore in 2009 predicted by 2014 the ice cap was going to melt. It's still there. In 2009, Obama predicted the glaciers in Montana's Glacier National Park would disappear entirely by 2020. Guess what? That was 4 years ago. They're still there. They lie about this because this is one of their control elements. This is one of their things. If they can't capture you on abortion, they'll capture you on the environment. The boogie monsters that they use to scare you. This has been going on, look, 50 years in the 1960s. This guy, Elric, was predicting famine, drought, and dead oceans within a decade. So that'd be the 1970s. He was wrong. And like the article says, the real mystery isn't why they keep lying. They lie because it gives them an excuse to exert more government control. All the job creation in California was government jobs. So if you tell the citizens, I need to create all these government agencies to help save the environment, well, now your job numbers look good. And that's the part that is... Here's one that they tried to bury. A Nantucket wind farm wreck. On July 13th, I don't know if you've heard about this, a wind turbine nearly as tall as the Eiffel Tower collapsed into Nantucket Sound, throwing the tourist destination into an economic crisis. They already had to look out and look at these windmills. Now these things are washing up on shore. And this was we have the context here. The Biden-Harris administration had pledged to generate 30 gigawatts of offshore wind by 2030, right? This one plant was doing 0.8 gigawatts, so not a whole hell of a lot. The blades are as long as football fields, and now it is just crumbled and is washing ashore. They've already, at the time of this article, they had already gotten rid of 6 truckloads worth, and more was still washing up. And it's sharp, so it's dangerous. So when, instead of being economically like seeing a windfall, people are staying away because they can't even go in the beach. And I beg you, if you can't vote Trump, I get that. Okay? I understand that. But vote RFK or stay away. Please. This is not about one political party winning. This is about sending a message that the stranglehold that these two parties have over us is ending. Purple's ultimate goal is a viable third party to end that stranglehold I keep mentioning. But first and foremost, Purple is America. The Dems and their leftist ideology is simply a threat to America. If the leftist organizations get their way, this is going to be a country of elites and the people who clean their toilets. They've already shifted all the manufacturing out of the country. The Democrats only care about winning. And one of the ways they've done it is they've convinced women that abortion rights are better than safe streets. They've convinced the gays that their rights supersede others, including a safe border. But their policies endanger everybody who supports them. They distort the truth to hold on to power. And one of the truths is if you look at what the Republicans, some of the downsides of the Republicans, it affects less people. It doesn't create a world of chaos. I don't support some of their core beliefs at all. Their stances on weed, abortion rights. I don't support that shit. But what I'm seeing is that one political party seems hell-bent on releasing all the criminals onto the streets and only doing something about it when it reaches epic proportions. And at some point, we're not going to be able to cut it off at that epic proportion. It's going to spill over. Who's really the purple party? Who's really the gay party? Who's really the women's party? It's not the Democrats. It's not the Democrats at all. It's not necessarily entirely the Republicans. But one way we can fight back is vote RFK or stay away. That's one way. because we could send a message to at least one party's elite and one party's propaganda machine and tell them, F you, we don't believe in you anymore. You either change or cease to exist. In case you don't know, I'm Kid Copious, Purple State Party, and so are you. If you can't vote for Trump, RFK, or stay away. And always remember, you gotta dance it out.